Live from New Delhi, you're watching Need India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Unrest continues in Pakistan Occupied Jammu and Kashmir after the reported civilian killings. Angry protesters in Sehensar burn police vans and bulldozers. In a move that will enhance people-to-people contacts, improve connectivity and economic collaboration, India and China to resume direct air services, Indigo announces Kolkata to Guangzhou flight. India condemns the terror attack on Manchester synagogue after the terror incident leaves 2 dead. External Affairs Ministry says terror on the International Day of Non-Violence saddening. In the past 24 hours, Pakistan Occupied Jammu and Kashmir has witnessed significant unrest despite the commencement of negotiations between the Pakistan government and the Jammu Kashmir Awami Action Committee. In key developments, tensions escalated after reported civilian killings leading to angry protesters in Sehensar burning police vans and bulldozers. Protests intensified in Sehensar where demonstrators targeted state property, setting police vehicles and bulldozers ablaze in retaliation for the recent civilian deaths. Protesters have established a blockade at the Arja Bridge, disrupting movement and signalling widespread discontent toward the authority. The town of Kotli observed a complete shutdown with businesses and transport halted as a mark of protest against the state's actions. Major areas including Azad Patan and Palandari continue to witness ongoing demonstrations with crowds voicing the demands and grievances despite the government's negotiation attempts. The overall situation remains tense with civil unrest persisting and the public expressing deep resentment against state authorities in multiple POJK regions. The Pakistan Journalists Union announced a Black Day to be observed on Friday after the assault on journalists at the Islamabad National Press Club on Thursday. According to Pakistan media reports, the lawyers community of POJK was staging a peaceful protest at the press club when the police attacked them. The protest in Pakistan Occupied Jammu and Kashmir entered their 6th consecutive day. Police high-handed action at the National Press Club sparks nationwide outrage and calls for protest. Journalist unions declared Friday a Black Day, saying the assault was a direct attack on media freedom. Well, shifting focus, India and China will resume direct air services by the end of October, aligning with the winter schedule. The civil aviation authorities of the two countries have been engaged in discussions on resuming direct air services between the two countries and on a revised air services agreement. Following these discussions, it has now been agreed that direct air services connecting designated points in India and China can resume by late October. This agreement will facilitate people-to-people contacts between India and China, contributing to the gradual normalization of bilateral exchanges. Meanwhile, Indigo is set to reconnect India with mainland China. Starting October 26, the carrier will resume daily non-stop flights between Kolkata and Guangzhou. Indigo will deploy its Airbus A320 neo aircraft on the route with plans to launch a Delhi-Guangzhou service once approvals come through. Now, the United Nations Security Council has approved travel ban exemptions for Afghanistan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi to visit India in October. The Foreign Minister of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, Amir Khan Muttaqi, is expected to visit India in coming days after the United Nations Security Council approved an exemption to the travel ban imposed on the Taliban leader. A waiver was sought for Muttaqi's visit last month from 1988 Sanctions Committee under the UNSC. However, it was not granted due to lack of consensus amongst the members. Under Security Council Resolution 1988, certain individuals linked to the Taliban are subject to travel bans. However, the resolution allows the Council to grant exemptions for official duties or medical reasons. Now, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said India's goal is to become Viksit Bharat by 2047 through self-reliance, not by closing its economy. Finance Minister was addressing the inauguration of 4th edition of Kautilya Economic Conclave in New Delhi on Friday. She said the outcomes of the conclave have not only helped us in policy making but also in holding global conferences. The G20 of 2023 stands out as a classic example.
Honorable Prime Minister has actually set the two-track in motion, one being reaching by 2047 a position where you're able to say that you're a developed country, Viksit Bharat. If that is one of the track, the other track is how do you reach that unless you are Atmanirbhar, unless you're self-reliant.
Finance Minister stressed the need to sustain 8% GDP growth to achieve this target. She warned of unprecedented global volatility shaping the world as the global economy is trying to recover from uncertainty. She also said the post-Cold War globalization era is fading and rules of international engagement are being rewritten. Minister said India aims to position itself effectively in this shifting global order.
Global order are shifting beneath our feet. The world that emerged after the end of the Cold War, which led to the expansion of globalization, open markets, pursuit of multilateral cooperation, now appears to be a relic of the past. For 3 decades, a contested equilibrium allowed nations to pursue prosperity through integration and interdependence.
Now, India has been honoured with the prestigious ISSA Award 2025 for outstanding social security achievements. Union Minister Mansukh Mandavia received the award in Malaysia. Dr. Mandavia said that the award reflects Prime Minister Modi's vision of Antyodaya, focusing on empowering the last person in line. He highlighted India's rise in social security coverage from 19% in 2015 to 64.3% in 2025, now covering over 940 million citizens. The minister also praised the e-Shram portal, which registered more than 300 million unorganized workers in 4 years. India secured the highest vote share in ISSA General Assembly with 30 seats, showcasing its leadership in social protection globally. Now, the date for the ceremonial closure of the 4 holy shrines in North India's Uttarakhand was announced on the occasion of Vijay Dashmi. The portals of Kedarnath Shrine will be ceremoniously closed for the winter season on October 23rd this year, while Badrinath Shrine will be closed for the winter in November. According to the official announcement, the portals of Gangotri Shrine will be closed for the winter on October 22nd, while the Yamunotri Shrine will be closed on October 23rd. After the portals are closed, devotees will be able to offer prayers at Mukhwa for Gangotri and Kharsali for Yamunotri for the next 6 months. Meanwhile, the Char Dham Yatra is continuing with great enthusiasm in its final phase. Since April 30th this year, more than 4.5 million devotees have visited the Char Dham shrines. Moving to other stories from Asia, while millions of Nepalis are celebrating the Shan with joy and enthusiasm, Nepal's Prime Minister Sushila Karki met with the families of the deceased of Gen Z protests at Kathmandu Valley. Accompanied by Minister for Communications and Information Technology Jagdish Kharel, the Prime Minister offered condolences and shared grief. A Thai gunman was sentenced to life in prison by the Bangkok Criminal Court on Friday for the murder of Cambodian opposition politician Lim Kimya in Bangkok. Lim, a Cambodian lawmaker, was shot dead on January 7 by a gunman named Ekalak Pe Noi while Kim was in Bangkok with his wife. The killer confessed to the killing and was arrested in Cambodia shortly after. Lim's widow called for a full investigation into who ordered the murder, with opposition figures accusing former leader Hun Sen, which the government denies. Charges against the second defendant, who allegedly drove Ekalak, were dismissed. Thai police continue to seek other suspects believed to be in Cambodia. And death's toll in a school collapse on Indonesia's main island of Java rose to 8 on Friday, but dozens were still believed under the rubble without signs of life days after the disaster. Part of the multi-story boarding school in the town of Sidoarjo collapsed suddenly on Monday as students gathered for afternoon prayers, leaving rescuers racing to find dozens missing in the rubble. Officials had said 59 people were feared missing before the two bodies were found. Distraught families have been waiting anxiously near the site for news of their loved ones. Investigations into the cause of the collapse are continuing, but initial signs pointed to substandard construction. Global weather updates now. Typhoon Matmo intensified as it made landfall in northern Philippines on Friday morning local time, where it's forecast to dump heavy rain, with the nation still reeling from the impact of two deadly typhoons in the past 2 weeks. Flash flooding can occur well inland and away from the storm center. Even weaker storms can produce excessive rainfall that can flood low-lying areas. Matmo will enter the South China Sea after hitting the Philippines and intensify into a typhoon, bringing winds and showers to Hong Kong over the weekend. Forecasters say the storm will continue strengthening after entering the East Sea on October 4th. It is expected to hit coastal area of neighboring Guangdong province of China on Sunday before moving northwest into the Guangxi region and eventually dissipating around Yunnan province in southwestern China next week. And the India Met Department has predicted snowfall higher reaches of Jammu and Kashmir from October 5th to 7th. It also said that light to moderate rainfall will hit the region from Saturday due to an active western disturbance. Heavy snowfall is likely to take place in the higher reaches like Anantnag, Pahalgam, Kulgam, Sinthan Pass, Shupian, Pir Ki Gali, Sonammarg, Zojila, Bandipora, Razdan Pass, Gulmarg and Kupwara, Sadhna Pass. Further light snow is predicted over middle reaches. IMD further predicted moderate to heavy rain over the plains of Kashmir and isolated heavy to very heavy rain over Jammu division. Alright, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Czechs go to the polls to elect a new government. Taylor Swift in a new sparkling era drops 12th album Life of a Showgirl.
US launch a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what you save your.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Polls opened in Czech Republic a short while ago, which will continue till Saturday to elect a new government. 26 parties and groupings are contesting seats in 200-strong Chamber of Deputies for more than in the previous elections in 2021. There are around 8 million eligible voters. Czechs are likely to oust their centre-right government, with polls favouring populist billionaire Andrej Babis to return to power on pledges to raise wages and lift growth while reducing aid for Ukraine. The change would boost Europe's populist anti-immigration camp and could complicate consensus on climate policies. Now, stalemate continues in US government shutdown after Democrats stand firm on healthcare demands. The government shutdown entered into day 3 with no signs of an imminent resolution as Republicans and Democrats traded accusations of who is to blame for funding lapse. Earlier, US President Donald Trump on Thursday warned that federal workers could be fired and projects cut if a government shutdown continues. In an interview to US news channel, Trump said has threatened mass layoffs and proposed to make irreversible changes to important democratic programs.
Well, there could be firings, and that's their fault, and it could also be other things. I mean, we could cut projects that they wanted, favorite projects, and they'd be permanently cut. So you could say, a lot of people are saying, Trump wanted this, that I wanted this closing, and I didn't want it. But a lot of people are saying it because I'm allowed to cut things that should have never been approved in the first place, and I will probably do that.
Taking the government shutdown as an opportunity, Trump is looking to reshape the federal workforce and punish detractors. Trump posted on social media saying he is focusing on which Democrat agencies can be slashed. Now, Senate Democrats are expected to block a GOP-backed short-term funding bill again when they vote on Friday, and the Senate is not expected to be in session this weekend. The shutdown is expected to delay the release of September U.S. jobs report, which was scheduled for Friday. Meanwhile, Senate Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and his House counterpart Hakeem Jeffries have dismissed the job cuts threats as an attempt at intimidation and said threat is not enough to force Democrats to relent on their demands for health care funding.
This is day 2 of Donald Trump's shutdown, but it's day 256 of the chaos that the Trump presidency has unleashed on the American people. Republicans have shut the government down because they don't want to provide health care to working class Americans. House Democrats continue to be here on duty. House Republicans are on vacation. We are ready, we are willing, we are able to sit down with anyone, anytime, any place, including the president and the vice president, to try to find a path forward to reopen the government, enact a spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, while at the same time addressing the Republican health care crisis.
Meanwhile, Speaker Mike Johnson closed the door on House Republicans entering discussions to alter the short-term spending deal, stating the bill's passage and the consequences, if it doesn't, are 100% the fault of Democrats.
People say, why aren't you negotiating with Schumer and Jeffries? Because I quite literally have nothing to negotiate. There's nothing I can pull out of the bill that was a Republican priority to say, oh, we won't do that. Why don't you guys vote for it now? I don't have anything. I didn't put anything in it to send it over. I'm stunned. I'm stunned that they have decided to shut the government down and hurt people. It is on them 100%.
The shutdown began on Wednesday after Republicans and Democrats in Congress failed to agree to a new spending plan. This is the first government shutdown in almost 7 years. The government shutdown, the 15th since 1981, has led to the suspension of scientific research, economic data reports, and a wide range of other activities. Now, President Donald Trump has declared that the United States is engaged in an armed conflict with drug cartels, according to a notice sent to Congress following recent U.S. strikes on boats off Venezuela. The letter is designed as a legal justification for at least 3 strikes in international waters that killed at least 14 people. The administration labels these cartels as non-state armed groups and terrorist organizations, describing suspected smugglers as unlawful combatants. The U.S. has deployed military vessels to the Caribbean to counter drug trafficking amid rising tensions with Venezuela, insisting these actions are aimed at protecting the U.S. from drug-related threats. In the latest in the terrorist attack at British synagogue, police said on Thursday that the suspect in the deadly attack outside a synagogue in Manchester in northern England was believed to be Jihad al-Shami, a 35-year-old British citizen of Syrian descent. Al-Shami was shot dead by armed officers after ramming a car into pedestrians and stabbing at least one person near a synagogue during Yom Kippur. The police added that 3 suspects, 2 men in their 30s and a woman in her 60s, were currently in custody and have been arrested on suspicion of commission, preparation and instigation of acts of terrorism. Moving on, India on Thursday condemned the deadly terror attack on a synagogue in Britain's Manchester and said it is yet another grim reminder of the challenge the world is facing from the evil forces of terrorism. MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal took to social media X and said, and I quote him here, "We condemn the terror attack on the Heaton Park synagogue in Manchester during Yom Kippur services today. It is particularly saddening that this heinous act was committed on the International Day of Non-Violence. This act is yet another grim reminder of the challenge we face from the evil forces of terrorism, which the global community must combat and defeat through united and concerted action." He said India's thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families and the city of Manchester. India stands in solidarity with the people of the United Kingdom in this moment of grief. Moving further, Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that the global economy would suffer without Russian oil. He was speaking at the Valdai Discussion Club, a Russian think tank and discussion forum at Sochi in southern Russia. The statement came as US President Donald Trump has urged other nations to stop buying Russian oil in order to reduce Moscow's ability to fund its war in Ukraine. Putin warned that prices would jump to over $100 per barrel if its supplies were cut off.
Whatever happens, I am convinced that the global sector will be working in a sustainable way because the global economy is growing. The demand in primary energy sources such as uranium for nuclear power stations, oil, gas, coal will be increasing, and that means global markets will in any case be consuming these energy resources.
All right, sports updates now. We'll start with cricket. Opener KL Rahul notched his 11th Test 100 to keep India on track for a decisive first innings lead against the West Indies on day 2 of the opening test in Ahmedabad on Friday. The hosts were 218 runs for the loss of 3 wickets at lunch, taking a lead of 56 runs. Rahul was dismissed for 100 after play resumed following the lunch break. India hit the accelerator when Gill and Rahul resumed on day 2. The duo added 98 runs for the 3rd wicket before the India captain was caught in the slip of Roston Chase after scoring 50. Earlier, India had bundled West Indies out for 162. Now, former Pakistan captain and commentator Sana Mir triggered a huge controversy while commenting during Pakistan-Bangladesh match of the Women's ODI World Cup in Colombo on Thursday. Referring to a batter, Natalia Parvez Mir said on air that she hails from Azad Kashmir. She has triggered outrage by making a politically charged comment. The International Cricket Council is known for its strict stance on neutrality and is yet to issue a statement on the controversial matter. Bangladesh won the match by 7 wickets. All right, to talk more on this, we are joined by Deepika Mehto from Sri Lanka, who has been covering this tournament. Deepika, the rule says that you can't give political statements during World Feed commentary. Tell us, what are the implications now? Can she be removed from the commentary panel?
Abhishek, soon after this statement, which was made by Sana Mir during her commentary for the Pakistan versus Bangladesh match on Thursday, she issued an official statement because soon after what she commented on the match and especially on the specific player, she had to release an official statement late on Thursday evening where she issued a clarification on social media because she was receiving a lot of backlash from Indians all across not only Colombo but all across the world who were watching the match and who observed what happened in the commentary via Sana Mir. Now, what she said in that statement, she said that the statement was completely harmless and we should not give it a political spin. This is what has been quoted by Sana Mir in her official statement, and she also said that her remarks in the commentary were not political in nature and she wasn't expecting an explanation to be released. But now, considering the backlash that she's been facing so far on Azad Kashmir comment that that she made on Parvez. She said that she just made the comment because she referred to the Pakistan occupied Kashmir and the struggles the player faced throughout the tournament, and making it to bigger events from such places. But then she also
Yes.
said that this is not to be politicized. Now, talking about what repercussions she have to face, we are yet to see any official confirmation or any official reaction even from BCCI or ICC. And Sana Mir has meanwhile released an official statement that her statement is being blown out of proportion. So it remains to be seen that how ICC or the BCCI is going to react as per the rule book. But as of now, the official statement on clarification has come from Sana Mir, the commentator.
Absolutely.
Abhishek.
She said Kashmir first and then Azad Kashmir, and Sana Mir has given clarification, but she hasn't apologized. We'll leave it at that. Thank you. Deepika will keep taking updates from you. Taylor Swift is in a new sparkling era. On Friday, she dropped her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, a collection of bouncy pop songs about love, marriage, success and score settling. Hundreds of Taylor Swift fans lined up for hours at a pop-up event in New York. They came to celebrate the release of a new album, The Life of a Showgirl. Fans say she has a big influence and spreads love to everyone. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.